Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new match preview on the channel. As you can see, I'm out and about today. I've just come back from Paris. Unfortunately, my train to back to the West Midlands has been cancelled, so I'm having a little bit of a wait off. I'll probably try and put a clip in now of the much more attractive place that I was in about 24 hours ago, and I sort of wish I did my match preview from there, really. But anyway, I'm back in England now, and I'm looking forward to watching the Wolves play once again tomorrow. We're away against Bournemouth in the Premier League. Of course, we play them again next week, next weekend in the FA Cup as well, and we'll have the opposition perspective later in the video as well. Apologies once again if there's any background noise here at London Euston as well. But we've had Vitor Pereira's pre-match press conference today, and once again we get the Vitor Pereira which is full of excitement, confidence, and a head coach and manager that wants to get the best out of his players and wants to play an attractive brand of football, has full belief in his players, and wants to win football matches. Of course, there's some bad news in regards to the injuries of Emmanuel Agbadou. We heard over the last couple of days from the guys over at the Express and Star that it was a hamstring injury, and we've had confirmation of the injury today from Vitor Pereira, who said he's going to be out for a few games. Of course, we have the international break, but the next week or so, there's some real crucial games in there for Wolves, which is a shame, really. Rodrigo Gomez, I think he missed the last squad as well, didn't he? He's also out injured, as is Hwang Hee-chan as well. Jurgen Strand-Larsen is available, and I would expect him to start tomorrow against Bournemouth. So that is a real nice addition for Wolves to have back in the squad. And to be honest, I think if he's fully fit, I think he's had over a week back in training now, I would fully expect him to start tomorrow against Bournemouth. But it was a real, again, like I said earlier, a positive pre-match press conference from Vitor Pereira, who seemed really confident. He knows and he appreciates how good Bournemouth have been and probably will continue to be. But look, I look at the stats against Bournemouth. You know, we've not lost there in the Premier League away from home. They've got a good record against us at Molineux, of course, but we're unbeaten there since they've come back into the modern Premier League. So it's not been an awful ground for us to visit, and I have full belief that Wolves have got the quality to compete against them. And again, that's what Vitor Pereira believes as well. Now, in terms of a predicted lineup for me, of course, I haven't got the fancy graphic flashing up on the screen today as normal, but I'd probably assume it will be Jose Sarri getting goal. Vitor did make a comment about Sam Johnson returning to training and probably returning to the squad, but I think Jose will keep his place in goal. Back five, I think Aït-Nouri, Semedo. I think Totti keeps his place. I think Doc will keep his place. And then it's the middle position. Now, for me, I think it will be Santiago Bueno. I know a lot of fans will be hoping to maybe see the debut of Nacer Giga. I don't think it's far away, but still think that Santiago Bueno probably is the more trusted shout as of right now. So I think Santi Bueno will start as the middle centre-back tomorrow. I think João Gomes and Andre will keep their place again. And I think it will be Matheus Cunha, Jurgen Strand-Larsen. And I would assume it will be Gonçalo Guedes that gets the nod ahead of Pablo Sarabia. Yeah, I assume that would be the case, that Guedes does get the nod ahead of Sarabia tomorrow. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that one, on the predicted lineup. If you know, I think that's going to be pretty close to being bang on. Look, there's a couple of players out injured, and a couple of other enough players out there that can make a shout to start. Maybe Marshall Manetzi, who caused a little bit of havoc. Maybe even Jean-Luc de Bellegarde. Bellegarde could get that nod actually ahead of Gonçalo Guedes. But of course, if there's any other news over the next evening or so, because there does tend to be news late on Saturday, I'll make sure I post that on the socials at Talking Wolves as well. Another player, or a couple of players that are worth keeping an eye on is Boubacar Traoré and Tommy Doyle. Now, Boubacar Traoré obviously been back in training, he's been part of the last squad or two. Vitor Pereira sounds really positive about him, and talking about how surprised almost he is with the quality that Boubacar's given him, and he could get opportunities in the squad in the near future. Tommy Doyle isn't training as a midfield two, he's been trained as somebody that could play a little bit further up. And again, Vitor has said that although he's been quite stubborn in terms of his shape, there may well be, now with the players that are back available, the flexibility to go back to a midfield three and change the shape up if needed. But I think we'll keep with what we know tomorrow. Maybe in the FA Cup next week we'll see a little bit more experimentation. But I'll hand over now to Craig from Up the Cherries in all departments. A big thanks to Craig for sending this in and giving us quite a deep insight to how Bournemouth are getting on so far this season.
Hello, Dave, and thank you for having me on Talking Wolves again. And hello to all the Wolves fans. Of course, I'm in somewhere probably, not as scenic as yourself. I'm still in the front room, but hey ho, in a couple of weeks, I'm looking forward to heading off to Amsterdam. But just to give you a little bit of feedback on our season so far, of course, he's going pretty well. We are fifth in the Premier League. We can't really believe it. If we do beat you at the weekend, we could well go fourth. We could end the weekend fourth as well, considering Manchester City and Liverpool face off together. So, just to give you a little bit of background on, how it's worked out. Of course, last time out, we beat Southampton 3-1 at St. Fary's. It was a fantastic performance, a very, very good performance, albeit I don't think we really got out of second gear. Um, we did threaten more times. Ryan Christie was hassle, as he always is, for opposition. He is the unsung hero. His cross into the box for Dango's header, or Dango as we now call him, I keep getting the name wrong, was something else. And then, of course, he scored his own goal as well. So he's probably one to watch for this match. He's in very, very good form and very, very exciting. The season hasn't been without its difficulties as well, though, because we have been under the weather with regards to injuries. In fact, we had 11 players at one point, 11 fit players, but those players are now coming back. Luis Sinistera is back. He played a little bit at the time against Southampton last weekend. We've also got Marcus Tavernier. He's back. Of course, he scored a goal, fantastic goal, after it did look a little bit shaky at one point. Alex Scott. Alex Scott, very, very well thought of. He's also going to be back as well. So, yeah, we're excited to see these players coming back, and we need to. With regards to the starting 11, of course, we don't have a real striker at the moment. Evan Nilsson was injured a little while back, and then the following day in training, NSU now, who's been waiting patiently for his chance, did his ACL, so he's out for the season. So a real shame for him. But it has given Dango a real chance, and he's been absolutely excellent. He's grabbed that with both hands. Of course, he did score that hat trick against Nottingham Forest recently. So, yeah, he's been absolutely outstanding for AFC Bournemouth. Other players, Semenyo, we can talk all day about Semenyo. He's a brilliant player. Absolutely love him to bits. And he's just he is a player that I'm very concerned of losing, as I think is Kirkes, as is Howson, as is Ilya Zabanier. The big problem we've got now is now we're in this position where we're looking at potentially a European place that nobody ever expected us to get. We could well be in a situation where if we don't get Europe, we're going to lose these players. So we have to just keep going. We have to keep playing that high press that Iriola has trained us to do. And he's the star man as well. You can't take anything away from Iriola as a manager. I think without a shadow of a doubt, he's probably going to be up there for manager of the season with what he's done for this football club. This squad is still very, very young. It's still very raw. It's still inexperienced, but he's got us playing this such attractive football. It's been a side which have been marred with injuries constantly. Adam Smith, the right back, he's out as well. So it's very, very, it's outstanding, to be perfectly honest, Dave. I've got to say that. What he also seems to have is when a player does get injured, say for example Evan Nielsen, he's got another player in mind to actually go into that position. Nobody at Dean Court expected Dango Watara to go up front and do what he's done. in that left midfield position, when he was crossing balls in, some of them were going way too far, some of them were going way too short, some of them were going away. A lot of fans were actually complaining about him and thinking, well, he shouldn't really start when Lewis Inistera's back. We've got to start him when David Brooks is back and, fit and able to play, which he is now. Move Semenyo over to the left and drop Dango. But of course, we haven't had that because of Evan Nilsson. But Dango's taken it with both hands. And that really is what Iriola's all about. He will model the team. He'll model these players to actually improve them. And they've got multi positions. And it's just a pleasure to watch. It really is a pleasure to watch. With regards to Wolves and what I think of Wolves, of course, we were one of the last games that Gary O'Neill had. And I've got to be honest, I'm a big Gary O'Neill fan, or was a big Gary O'Neill fan, as you probably know. It was the right decision that was taken by Jeff Shee. And although results haven't been forthcoming, Wolves look a lot better side. Matthias Cunha was very, very good against Liverpool in that game last weekend. He was excellent. You look more defensively minded. You look a little bit more solid at the back, whereas Gary O'Neill was playing this, and he did get a lot of goals. You did get a lot of goals under Gary, but it seemed to be that, if you scored 2 like you did against us, you'd concede 4. 5 against Brentford, 6 against Chelsea. I know there was another 4 in there somewhere. That's not what Wolves fans deserve. It's not what they need. And I think Vitor Pereira has made things a lot more solid. Plus, Gary lost the changing room. We all know that. I could see that. Matthias Cunha, I know that there was a couple of issues with him, who's a star player. You don't want to lose your star player. You don't want to upset your star player. And of course, he's back to his very best. So we've got to be careful of him and keep him quiet. Hopefully, Ilya Zabanier and Dean Howson will do just that, which they have done against many strikers this season. Chris Wood, for example, who I actually wouldn't put in the same category as Cunha as an attacking threat. I would say, if they can do what they did to Chris Wood, that we've got a good chance to keeping Cunha quiet. Mario Lemina, of course, has left the club, and he did what he did to Southampton to yourselves. I feel really sorry for you guys for that, because it shows unprofessionalism on his part. I'm not going to bet against my own team, as you can probably guess, Dave, but I think it's probably going to be a very, very different game. I think 2-1 to Bournemouth. I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a bit of a slog in places. And you are a very, very different side. Pereira is getting you right, and you will stay up without a shadow of a doubt. I've got confidence in that. Like I say, I wish you all the very, very best for the rest of the season. Wolves fans have always been really, really good to me, and really appreciate you guys. So all the very, very best. Of course, after Saturday, that goes without saying. I'm pretty sure you've said the same to me. Have a good rest of the time in Paris, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon, mate. Take care.
So big thanks to Craig for that insight. Of course, I think it will be a close game as well. I've gone for a 2-1 Wolves victory. I suppose I've always got to be positive for the Wolves, but before I annoy you guys anymore with this background noise, before, as you can see, it's raining here outside London Euston, and I'll sign out now. As always, be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel, guys. Look after yourselves, enjoy the weekend. Fingers crossed it's 3 points for the Wolves, and I'll see you on the next one.